Well, let's talk about the three laws. I think you described it as three laws which you trade by. So let's spend a little time on each of these. I think they're each really interesting. Obviously, we were talking about these off air. Number one is you said that you much rather prefer asymmetric risk to reward. Would you mind explaining that for us?
Yeah, so I think you need to have bigger wins than losses. I think you want to have long vol characteristics as opposed to short vol characteristics, or probably better to say more like trend following versus mean reversion. Because, and what I mean by that is, I'd rather have a lower winning percentage but a higher payoff than a very high win percentage and a very low payoff. Because I think as you move into real trading, you take a system from production and testing and you take it to live trading, the randomness happens and you never really get the expectation from the back test or whatever testing you want to do. And I think it's safer to have the long vol characteristics as opposed to the short vol characteristics. So I tend to prefer, bigger wins than losses, and I'll sacrifice a little bit of my win percentage to achieve that.
Okay, that's fair enough. And number two, I think there's probably a better way to phrase this, but I think you said that all bets mean the same thing to your bottom line. I'll let you explain that one.
Yeah, so let's say that you have 10 systems that all have relatively the same characteristics, or you want to take even for discretionary traders, you want to take 10 trades off of the same pattern whenever they appear. It would not be in your benefit to have one of those trades be done with 5 times the size as the other 9. Because if that one that you size up on wipes out, 6 or 7 other winners, then you're really at a disservice to yourself, because you're really not allowing, and I don't want to give away the third law, but you're really not allowing, the expectation, the math to play out. You're kind of just putting all your eggs in one basket, even though you're making 10 trades. One of them, means a lot more to your bottom line.
Okay, so you're obviously saying this from the position of being a quant. For discretionary traders who do, size up on certain trades and do risk more on certain trades, do you think that type of approach is flawed in some way?
Yeah. Like I said, I never want to discourage anyone from trying or testing anything. And what works for someone else or doesn't work for me, may work for someone else. So I'll, disclaim with that. But I do think that that's dangerous. I really try to avoid excitement in my trading. I think trading should be boring. And I want the expectation to play itself out over the 1,000 coin flips, as opposed to having, 10 coin flips and you decide you want to bet your whole lot on the 8th flip. To me, that's kind of crazy. If you want to bet your winnings from, the 4th through 7th flips on the 8th flip, that to me is crazy. I kind of just want to stay in the game and I want to get to my 1,000 flips, if you will.
So that, of course, leads us into the third law that you trade by, and that is the law of large numbers. You want to execute your edge as much as possible. Do you want to explain that one a little further?
Yes, I think we kind of brushed upon it earlier. And again, to go back to the coin flip, if you have an unfair coin, or it's 70-30, I think was the numbers we used before, and you flip it 10 times, you might find that the tails, which was the 30%, might happen 7 out of those 10 times, or 8 times out of those 10 times. But if you flip that coin 1,000 times, then that heads that had the 70% chance is going to be around 700. And I think it's important, if you do the research and you find a positive edge, to allow that positive edge to play out. If you only do a couple of, trades or coin flips, you might not experience what the expectation is just because of randomness. And like I said earlier, you need to escape that randomness. You need to get to a lot of number of trades to assure, or ideally to assure, that your edge will play out.